Is your schedule always something like this? Monday, you're assigned the hardest project ever to finish, which needs to be completed in a week. When you first saw it, you thought it might take a month, but you have to complete it in a week. Thursday, you realize you still haven't started your project, and there's only three days left until you have to complete it. The deadline is closing, and your stress grows as you procrastinate more. Sunday afternoon, you only have a few hours before it's due, and you finally start your project just before the deadline. Now, I'm not going to talk about what happened next, but you can probably imagine. Hello, you're watching KlassIt, and I'm going to be talking about procrastination and stress today. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to my channel, KlassIt, if you want a free lifetime membership to the stress-free zone. I'll give you a few seconds before we begin. 3, 2, 1. Now, let's begin. I think kids and adults should not have a lot of stress, but that doesn't mean people shouldn't have stress at all. Instead, everyone should have a little stress, but not too much that it causes problems, because problems are bad. That's why they're called problems. This is because stress can sometimes be good. When it comes to stress, sometimes people blame other people, like students blame their teachers and employees blame their bosses. And when it comes to procrastinations, students say my dog ate my homework and employees say there was too much traffic, both ending with I need more time. People say too much stress is a bad thing and you shouldn't have it. But why do people say this? Because a lot of people have stress and it's very common. Well, the American Institute of Stress says about 33% of people report feeling extreme stress. So that's about 1 in every 3 people. 77% of people experience stress that affects their physical health. 73% of people have stress that impacts their mental health. And finally, 48% of people have trouble sleeping because of stress. That's almost every 1 in 2 people have sleeping problems because of stress. If you want to learn more about sleep, make sure to check out my channel KlassIt, and there should be a video about sleep there. So, going back to stress, there's a lot of people have stress. So, what could be the problem with stress? Well, there are a lot of problems that can arise from having too much stress. Some things that might happen is depression, anxiety, and thinking and memory problems. But stress doesn't just affect your mind. It also affects your body. You could also have things like digestive problems, diseases, skin problems, and also have an increased chance of getting a heart attack. Yes, a heart attack. Well, what about procrastination, you may ask? Well, studies show that around 20% of adults, or every 1 in 5 people, adults actually, procrastinate chronically. Studies show that around 50% of college students procrastinate in a consistent and chronic manner. 75% consider themselves to be procrastinators, and 80 to 95% of college students procrastinate. So college students procrastinate a lot, but adults do too. Before I talk about the solutions of decreasing stress and procrastination, I want to talk about the process of both of those things. So first, we need someone. How about you? Yes, you. What's your name? So right now, what are you stressing about? Oh, well, that's interesting. The first thing that happens in the process of stress is that you start getting symptoms of stress, like headaches, tense muscles, and tiredness. Once you have stress, you don't want to do those very stressful things. So what you do is you procrastinate and do something more enjoyable, whether it be scrolling down on social media, watching KlassIt, or playing video games. And like that, you wait until the last few days, and then you start working a lot. But in the end, whatever you were working on just would have been better if you hadn't procrastinated. Now that you understand the process of both of those things, let's talk about the solutions. One thing that a lot of people usually do and say is do meditation or do yoga. Now this may help some people, and it may help you. You should try it, but personally, I don't think it helps me. It just doesn't help. So I'm going to tell you solutions that research and I think will help. One thing we can do when we have a lot of stress is eat. Now this doesn't really seem like a great idea at first, But the way I think of it is by eating things like fruits or other healthy foods that give you nutrients, you can get your strength back and start thinking again. But that doesn't mean you can just eat anything, only things that will give you positive effects. Another thing we can do is sleep. Sleep better, because who doesn't like sleeping? Sleeping can give you energy and help you better react to your stress. Also, not having enough sleep can give you more anxiety and stress. So making sure you don't get enough sleep and you don't waste time watching KlassIt, even though everyone knows KlassIt is the best, you have to let it go and get your beauty sleep. And if you want to know more about sleep, like I said, make sure to head over to my channel, KlassIt, and watch that video on sleep. Now, putting the best YouTube channel aside, the third thing you want to do is take breaks and do something to take your mind off what you were doing before, that stressful thing. This will let out the stress that you've been holding in your mind for forever and distract you from that stressful thing. But your breaks should be every hour or so and not over 10 minutes long. Now, let's talk about the solutions to procrastination. The first thing you want to do is get rid of all the distractions. Examples of those could be TV, noises, games, and friends. Yes, you heard me right, friends. Friends can often be distractions if they are not working. Having friends isn't bad, but they could do things that are bad. Like they could be playing your favorite video game or talking about things that interest you, which would distract you from doing your work. Second, you could use self-bribery. This is a process where it seems confusing, but I was looking for solutions and I came across this website that said this. So I checked the website link and it was a college and it was trustable. So I started reading it again. So at first I thought it was probably a mistake, but after I read further, it actually made sense. It was saying that you could give yourself a reward once you do your work so that you actually want to do your work. For example, you could say, if I finish 30% of this project today, then I can watch 30 minutes of KlassIt. But you can't use this for every little thing. So be careful with this thing. And the third and final thing you can do is make a plan of what you're going to do that day. Like the day before, right before you go to bed, you can make a plan for the next day. That doesn't mean you should spend 30 minutes making a planner. Like you could be brushing your teeth and be like, okay, I'm going to do this and finish at 10 o'clock and probably finish this at 11 o'clock and start this at 12 o'clock today. By doing this, you won't have to waste time thinking about what you're going to do and maybe get distracted like by the TV or something else, when you could already know what you're going to do. So these were the solutions to stress and procrastination. Now I want you, yes, you, to take the next step. We may not be able to delete stress and procrastination, but we can start by backspacing a little every time. Thank you, and remember, the first step to reducing stress is to get a free lifetime membership at the Stress Free Zone by subscribing to my channel. Bye!
Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and share this video with your friends and family.